This is a Ben Frank Connection presentation.
Guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Opinion City Podcast. I am your host, Parma-Sean, and as you can see, King Ralph isn't here today. His presence isn't being felt as he is doing his Easterly obligations. But as they say, show must go on, so here we are. Quick disclaimer, this show is probably not safe for work, so you've been warned. Now, in order to support the Opinion City Podcast, you can do so in 3 super easy steps. Number 1, hit that like button. It shows that you're enjoying everything that we're doing here, everything that we share to you, audio, video-wise. We love it. It really helps the channel grow. Number 2, smash that subscribe button so you never miss any content that we put out, videos or otherwise. Number 3, hit that share button. Share us with your friends, family, colleagues, co-workers, neighbors, strangers, whoever you want. Tell any and everybody about us and spread the word on the Opinion City Podcast. Also, guys, we've got merch. We have merch for Mania, merch for whatever geeky or nerdy thing you want. Get your Mania shirt in time for this next week. It's coming up next week, guys. Mania Night 1 and 2 is around the corner. Get your merch. Support the OC boys. As well as if you want to follow us at Opinion City Pod on all the socials. Also, if you want to follow what we're doing on the network, follow the BFC at Ben Frank Connect. You can got Opinion City Podcast, Wrestling with Life, the ABJ podcast, Tornado Tag, and so much more. And most importantly, follow and support our guests. We love that you show us support, but it's just as important to show them support and follow everything that they are doing as well. Now, this week's guest is multi-time champion of the UWF as well as Pro Wrestling Venom, and he is the creator of Chaos. Let's bring him in. He is Mikey Anarchy. What's going on, man? What's happening?
Another day in the life, man. Just living and breathing and happy to be a part of it.
Exactly. So we met at the GTS Venom show back in February, and you had a crazy death match with Jimmy Controversy. Can we talk about that bump where the door didn't break not once but twice?
Oh, my God.
Because that was a gnarly bump. And you went in 2 times, and it still didn't break. And it was wrapped in barbed wire.
Yeah, freaking... Listen, man. I don't know what happened. I just remember going to Jimmy and be like, all right, I am going to power bomb you through this door. And I'm ready to end this match.
Right.
Fucking, I don't know what happened from point A to point B where the door doesn't break.
Right.
But I'm like, God damn it. Okay. I was like, all right, we got to break this door now. I'm determined. I'm fired.
Right. You're ready to go.
As soon as that second one hit, I was like, oh, fuck this. I've lost. I'm done. Like, fuck this. And, like, I've never had a problem going through a door. I'm a big boy. It's pretty hard to not go through a door. No, this door just didn't want to break.
Dude, your back was so scarred.
Yeah, that was...
That barbed wire, which was,
It's barbed wire.
It's
barbed wire.
It was, to be as safe as possible, it still destroyed your whole world. Plus, dude, I gotta say, I know it was plastic forks, but that fork spot also looked rough.
The crazy part is, didn't feel them.
I mean, it's plastic. I mean, I get it. It's plastic forks, but, like, it looked rough.
Listen... Anything's rough when someone's jumping off the top
right
and stomping on your back. I got to give it to Jimmy. He gave me a good ass whooping.
Oh, dude, that was you guys went everywhere. We went all over that freaking arena.
Listen, this is my first ever live show, like in front of a real paying crowd.
Oh yeah, okay.
Before, like I worked with UWF, and it was like friends, family, and everyone that wanted to come and support.
Right.
We were doing it for fucking just having fun and good times, and we were putting on some banger ass shows there. And going to GTS at this live event, it was like, this is different. Like, this isn't a crowd that knows who I am, that hasn't seen, or if they've seen something like this on TV, they've never seen it in person.
Right.
So, ooh, shit, I definitely scared some people that day.
I'm sure there were a lot of kids in that crowd too. So, like, they saw some rough stuff. We saw
Listen,
some rough
but
stuff.
to be fair, if anybody knows the story of me and Jimmy, I was going to squash that.
Oh yeah, you were after.
Yeah,
you were after blood.
Yeah.
So
man, Jimmy's one tough motherfucker though.
Oh yeah,
he does not look like he could whoop ass, but he hits pretty hard. And
he definitely hits pretty hard.
Yeah, motherfucker. I was like, oh shit. I was like,
so why don't we wind the clocks back and kind of tell us where you got your start in wrestling and where did you get your training?
So I started at a little company in Philadelphia called Underground Wrestling Federation.
Mm-hmm.
It was July of 2018. I was 17 years old.
Oh wow! All right,
yeah,
super young.
First ever match against my best friend Max Adams. It was July 28th, 2018. Like I remember that shit like it was yesterday. And ever since then, it just skyrocketed from there. Like
right.
Just starting out, I was like, all right, this is fun. Like I could say I've done this, but starting out that one match, it led me to fucking so many different like states to wrestle in, like in Virginia, Jersey for the first time, and then Connecticut, and then freaking like because of that, then I won 2 deathmatch tournaments back to back, no less, too. And
yeah, that's crazy.
And never in a million years.
And then on top of that, you were in the finals 3 consecutive times too, which that's got to say something.
Dude, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024.
Crazy.
Yeah,
nuts.
Man. The Uncivilized Cup is no joke, man.
So, for those that don't know, what is the Uncivilized Cup?
All right, so the Uncivilized Cup is UWF's annual deathmatch tournament.
Okay.
And I first saw, like, I was a part of the very first Uncivilized Cup. There was one before UWF.
Right.
Another company called XBW.
Okay.
And I saw that as a fan.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit, that was my first time seeing like this in my local area.
Mm-hmm.
And then after XPW, the thing that happened with that, then UWF spawned and took over.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year was the first ever UWF Uncivilized Cup in 2019.
Wow.
And that was the first time I'd ever done a deathmatch tournament.
First time for you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was crazy because that day, so many people pulled up. That yard was packed, which was amazing. There's so many friends, family, people that drove, like, were taking time out of their own schedule to come and see us. There's people that came from Pittsburgh. We had people that were fans of us from the UK that came.
Right.
And then we had wrestlers like Jimmy Lloyd was there.
Nice.
And he even was the guest ring announcer for the finals.
Oh, wow.
Which was super cool.
Yeah.
I love Jimmy Lloyd. He was super awesome, dude.
Right.
And then after that, it was skyrocketed from there. 2020 was beginning of my, like, I broke out for the first time.
Yeah.
Because that was when, like, when I first started, I was a kid. I was still in high school. And then as I got older and I was like, all right, I'm not 16 anymore. I'm not 17 anymore. Like, I could start hitting these motherfuckers back.
Yeah, you're right.
As soon as I started fighting back, it was like, oh, shit. And from there, it skyrocketed up. And it's none of anything I have now would have been possible without UWF, 1,000%.
Do you consider yourself like a UWF veteran? Because just looking at your all that you've accomplished, 2-time Cup winner, 3 times in the finals, 3-time UWF Uncivilized champion, 622-day reign as UWF Uncivilized champion.
Longest reigning in ever.
And now you also have the Uncivilized Underground.
Yeah, so I have the Underground Championship and have the Uncivilized Championship.
Yeah, and then you have
held both of them at the same time.
But then you also have the Pro Wrestling Venom.
Yes.
As well.
I do.
You have 3 belts. I mean, when I saw you had 4 belts. You were rocking 4 belts when I saw you.
Yeah, I had the GTS Intercontinental Championship.
Yep.
And because of a in my opinion, honestly, bullshit discrepancy.
Right.
It is what it was. I couldn't do nothing about it.
Right.
But because Rad Dad at the time, I was like, you know what? You're actually accepting my challenge. I even relinquished that Intercontinental Championship.
Right.
Because I wanted his Intercontinental and United States Championships.
Yeah.
And honest to God, come Grimomania, I'm going to take both of those championships from him. But for right now, I needed to say about me and Rat Dad's personal beef and how I honestly feel about him. just tune into Grimomania and
Right,
you'll see
yes.
exactly what I plan to do to him.
Exactly. So, what is it about deathmatch wrestling that has you hooked on it? Like, how did you go through that versus just regular, like,
So
wrestling?
I've always been a wrestling fan through and through,
Right.
but I grew up during the ruthless aggression era. Like that's
Right.
when a lot of my first like real memories I can remember as a kid,
Mhm.
and it was watching stuff like Undertaker throw Mankind
Right.
off the Hell in a Cell back in
Mhm.
1998, I believe
Seven.
it was. Or it was, I think it was
It was
7 or
8.
8,
It was 8. You're
whatever
right.
it
You're
was.
right.
And then
98.
not only that, Mick Foley's going through thumbtacks.
Yep.
And like then there's the Inferno match between Kane and Taker
Yeah.
at Unforgiven. And I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit, like I've always
Crazy.
liked crazy shit in wrestling.
Yeah.
And then that's when I then discovered ECW because
Mhm.
WWE brought ECW back. And
Well,
that's where more of the blood.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
We all know how that went.
Yeah.
But that was my first time seeing like car crash style wrestling.
Right.
Well, what was at the time I thought car crash style wrestling.
Right.
And just seeing like the death defying moves they were doing through tables and even barbed wire and thumbtacks. And I was like, holy shit, I like this.
Right.
But it wasn't until I was 12 that I discovered deathmatch wrestling.
Right. Okay.
I found a clip online of it was Masada versus Jun Kasai, CZW WrestleCon 2012. Fucking Jun Kasai was charging after Masada. Fucking Masada dropped toe, holds him into a gusset plate. Kasai's fucking
that sounds brutal.
Dude, it was the most shoot gusset plate spot I've ever seen in my life by accident. And Kasai gets up and is covered in blood. I mean, full face red. And he's keeping going. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, holy shit. That hooked me right there. And then that's when I fell down the rabbit hole past CZW.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit. And ever since then, I love deathmatch wrestling. It's always appealed to me a lot more because I've always like been an emotional person and I'm very outgoing.
Right.
And watching these guys and gals that were doing the wrestling that I grew up watching, but they were doing it with like the only way I've been able to explain it is it's raw.
Right.
Like deathmatch wrestling's pure raw.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the world you can do to prepare yourself for that. And it gravitates to me more. It's like I can feel them physically. Like I can feel the pain. At least what I thought felt like it. And I was like, it just made me want to experience it.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's hooked me.
But so how do you mentally prepare for a deathmatch versus just a regular style match?
Crazy part is it's not that different. At least now.
It's not.
At least now it's not. Because I've done so many death matches at this point that where I'm just like, all right. Like it feels the same where it's like I have a ritual. I can't eat anything, just drink water.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be fine. And that's what I do every match. And every time it always works. Deathmatch wrestling, you just kind of get used to it at some point.
Right.
It hurts, but it doesn't hurt. Like now I've experienced literal everything, including fire. That's never fun. But
I don't think fire is ever fun.
No,
I don't think you could ever prepare to be burned, even if you have some sort of protection on you.
No, when your opponent decides to blow a fireball on your back, and it's like, nothing prepares you for that.
So, one of our commenters, Laser Neon, wants to know what got you to join GTS, LTW, and PWV.
So it really starts really at the end of UWF, the last year. Jimmy Controversy came in and took the Uncivilized Championship from me.
Right.
At that point, we had wrapped up UWF our last show, and I was like, all right, I'm going to relax for a little bit. Then I saw online that Jimmy was flaunting the Uncivilized Championship on Venom. And that was that was disrespectful to me. So I just said, you know what? Fuck you, Jimmy. Okay, and I invaded. I just straight up came in and kicked Jimmy's ass. And Grim liked that I wanted to kick Jimmy's ass. Who doesn't like seeing Jimmy get beat up?
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's Jimmy. It's Jimmy.
And because of that, Grim was like, dude, someone wants to sponsor you for a match. Come in. I'm thinking, all right, one off. Cool.
Right.
But I've been just going ever since, and it's been the best time of my life. And then meeting Lawrence Spiral and Aaron Spiral and Ace Marksman. And they were like, all right, come to LTW. Like, let's see what you got there. And that's when I wrestled Drax Mason for the first time. And just did my thing and killed it, and just kept coming back ever since. It's been the best time I've had with wrestling, and it's very, very fun. Like, this is the most exposed I've been to the public, because I like to really keep private.
Right.
So now that, like, I have a Twitter now, and like interacting with fans, and then doing like live shows where I'm like, I don't know if people actually know me, and then there's guys that are coming up to me and they're like talking to me about stuff I've done on GTS, and I was like, damn, like, this is a bigger outreach than I really thought.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I was like, this is different.
Right.
It's so fun. Like, I was walking around Suplex Vintage Wrestling with
dude,
my friend Angel and Gabe. Oh, I can't wait to go there.
It. I'm so excited.
I got a bunch of, like, different cool stuff from them. I just got a signed Vader shirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is super cool.
Yeah.
But we were just chilling upstairs, just playing video games up there, and out of nowhere, there's a fan that comes up to me and my friend Angel, because Angel's on GTS with us, and so is my friend Gabe. And he's like, holy crap, you're Mikey Anarchy. And I looked over and I was like, who the fuck just said that? I was like, and I was like, oh, like, that's, I was just like, wow. Like, I didn't really realize how many people I've been connecting with. Like, the internet's a crazy thing.
Right.
It's just, it's fun, man. Like, I wanted to do this since I was a kid.
Right.
So, like, now that I get to actually do it, and I'm doing it my way, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Going back to UWF a little bit, how and when did you discover UWF?
All right, so like I said, I was watching the first ever Uncivilized Cup at XBW. That's where I met Mike Fatality,
right,
who would become the owner of UWF, and he knew I was a fan, and we had talked a little bit because my friend Max Adams was wrestling for XBW at the time and wrestled against Mike a couple times.
Right.
So I was getting to know Mike a little bit outside wrestling, and he was like, "So you're wrestling?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I always wanted to try it." So when he formed UWF, I think it was the second ever UWF show. They needed a championship to represent their Uncivilized championship, because they had, like, a previous one, they wanted something for themselves. I had made a custom deathmatch championship belt just for the fun of it. Like,
nice.
And it was like, I want to take it to shows and have it as, like, like a gimmick for being a mark.
Love that.
Yeah. And Mike, when he was forming UWF, came to me and said, hey, would it be possible to, like, could we use this for our wrestling show? And I was like, okay. And originally I was just going to rent it. Like, I was like, give me like $5 for it.
Right.
Like, just didn't care. And before the show, I was sitting backstage with the wrestlers and listening to Mike. And I was just like, this is cool as shit.
Right.
Like, this is happening, like, in my neighborhood. I was like, I looked at Mike. I was like, Mike, just keep the belt. I was like, this is cool as shit.
Yeah.
Like, I just am happy that something I made is getting put to something I genuinely love. And you guys doing death matches. It's fucking awesome.
Is that the belt that has the barbed wire around the middle?
So that's the second iteration of it. The first one was a WWE replica belt that I cut out the middle, put a saw blade in.
Oh, wow.
And then the jewels, I glued thumbtacks on them.
Oh, jeez.
Fucking the sidebars, awesome. Like, they had the gold bar in the middle.
Yeah, like those side plates.
I ripped that off and I put carpet strips down the middle. And then where the WWE logo side plates are, I put a fucking Kenzan over top them. And then I had fucking mouse traps,
dude,
on the straps.
What is going on with that?
It was fucking awesome.
I wouldn't even wear that belt. I wouldn't even want to hold it. I wouldn't even want to hold it.
It was like, everyone joked it was the tetanus belt, and I was like,
"Oh my god!"
I was like, "I clean it. Don't worry.
It's clean. It was sanitized. It's sanitized. Definitely a weapon.
Like, as crazy as it looked, it was always sanitized. Like, nobody ever had to worry about, like, getting tetanus or shit. But I was just like, yeah, fuck it, like, use it. It's so cool. And Mike was like, well, like, we have the ring, and we're always looking for new guys.
Right.
He's like, would you be interested? I was like, hell yeah. And then after they did their second ever show, he was like, do you want to get in the ring? And I was like, yeah. I was like,
nice.
Duh. And then he was like, well, do you know, like, what bumps are? And I took, like, a regular back bump. And he was like, you got that on your first try? I was like, well, I watched, like, stuff online.
Right.
I was like, I genuinely wanted to do this. And he was like, all right, well, what else, like, do this bump and I did that bump. And then he was
Right.
like, all right, well, and then from there, he was just like, all right, you know enough. First match. And I was like, oh shit, like this is really happening.
Right.
So I was like, all right. I was like, all right, I never thought this was actually going to happen to my
Right.
kid. And just from there, my first ever match with Max Adams, which, oh man, there's one thing I did in that. I had one weapon in that match that really, really brought some eyes to me. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
About it later. All right. So, what's been your favorite death match that you've been a part of so far?
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I haven't really thought about this. I always go back to one match that I'm like the most proud of.
Okay.
And I can always just watch it back and be like, that was fucking great. It was me versus Mike Fatality, 2021, the season opener.
Right.
Like we did it was a double hell no rope barbed wire, and we just went in there and fucking just killed each other. But it was just like it was so effortless, where it was just like, damn, like we fucking just. That was the one time I was very egotistical about myself.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I fucking nailed it. Like we had such an amazing match. I was like, yeah, no one can tell me otherwise. That's probably been my favorite one. In terms of like just one I had the most fun.
Right.
And I can always remember like fondly. Every death match is always fun.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Just that one particular match. I was just
There's
like,
always that extra challenge of like,
of.
do you sometimes have it in your mind where it's like, how do I top the last death match?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, there's only so many times I can hit people with light tubes and, put them through, like, a barbed wire board where it's like, all right, I know this isn't the only thing that can stop you.
Right.
So I was like, that's when I start bringing shit out like a fucking exploding bat that then got hit on me. Then crazy things like dollhouses wrapped in barbed wire with light tubes. It's like things just add that next level. Like, all right, if this doesn't end you, Christ, what do I have to do to end you? And like, I always challenge myself.
Right.
Like, what can I do differently? Like, all right, use this crazy weapon, but like, do it this way. Or, this dude's like 6 foot tall. I'm 5'7". Christ. How am I taking you down? It's fun. It's always a challenge. Especially when it's tournament time. I have to win myself each time.
Go
especially
up your game a little bit there. Then it's go time. It's go time.
Anytime I have a title match or a tournament, it's like, all right, I got to top myself the last time I did this.
You got to go time, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Laser Neon, once again, another great question. He asks, who's the hardest wrestler that chopped you?
Asylum. Asylum never didn't chop anybody with full force. Or didn't punch people with full force.
Right.
He was like the wife beater of like my company, of UWF.
Right.
And every time I wrestled him, he would chop me. He knew each time he wrestled, he got stronger because he always trained his hand with like hand grips.
Right.
Always knocks the wind out of me. One chop, I'm like,
you're like, give me a minute, give me a second.
Yeah, like if he just keeps chopping me, I might submit.
Right, just tap out. I'm done. We're out.
Okay, I can't do this. Yeah, 100% Asylum.
So, what's the worst spot you've taken then? We mentioned the one earlier, but I feel like there's probably one worse than the one at Jimmy's match at Venom.
Oh, shit. Worst spot.
Worst bump.
I mean, yeah, I gotta think, because I haven't taken a lot of like super crazy bumps.
Well, other than that one I saw at Venom, that was pretty crazy.
Well, that was barbed wire door just didn't want to break. That was definitely like, oh no, that barbed wire door is the worst one. The first worst one
Okay.
was the time I nearly nutted myself on a barbed wire trampoline.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Let me tell you this fucking story. So first time I ever went down to POR,
Right.
I was down in Virginia, and I was wrestling Sinister Minister, JC Extreme, and Mike Fatality for the POR World Championship, and Mike was the Uncivilized champion at the time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And at one point in the match, I got JC Extreme on a barbed wire trampoline.
Okay.
And I see a ladder next to it. I was like, oh, I'm going to regret this. I get up. And as soon as I get up there, I was like, shit, I can't get back down.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, I was immediately regretting up there. And I was just like, fuck it, breathe and go for
it. Right.
I went for an elbow drop, except I didn't kick my legs out. I kept my legs flat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
Imagine the barbed wire. I was an inch away from disaster, to say the least.
From losing your nether regions.
Yeah, disaster. Absolute disaster.
Oh, dude.
It literally got to the point where they had to cut me out because I couldn't get out.
Oh, dude. Oh,
That's
terrifying. That's terrifying.
Yeah, very, very scary situation.
I can only imagine. So, have they ever had to stop a match because it got too hardcore or too violent?
Never where it got too hardcore. There was only one time that I've ever had to I've ever quote unquote called a match early. I hate saying that because I don't like to. But one match against it was against Asylum. Asylum don't hold back when he swings his tubes.
Right.
And he was giving me tubes like normal, fine, whatever. But at some point in the match, I was like, oh shit, I feel fucking sick.
Right.
I was like, I don't know if I can do this because I started getting real dizzy and I couldn't see straight. And then I was like, I'm gonna throw up. I was like, and I was like, oh fuck. I was like, yeah, that was done at that point. That's the only time I've ever had to call a match.
That's crazy.
I can deal with the pain. Pain is pain. If it doesn't hurt, I'm not doing it right.
Right.
But just from feeling sick, it's just and even if I'm got a broken leg, I'll finish the match.
Right.
I don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Right.
But
right.
I have to prove it to myself that I'm worthy of being here.
Oh yeah, of course. You gotta prove yourself. I
always feel like I have to prove myself.
Yeah.
Each every time I go out the ring, I was like,
of course,
prove why I belong here. And so far, so good. I've done pretty good at it, I'd say.
Right.
I'd say.
Not bad. Pretty good.
Never in a million years.
You are holding 3 belts. Just
never in a million years that I actually really think I'd be living my childhood dream.
Right.
And it's just it's still unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
I'm just having the time of my life doing the thing I've heard hundreds and thousands of times. I was like, you're never gonna do this. Laughed at me for I walked in high school one time with the world heavyweight belt.
Did you? Nice.
Yeah, I was just
I love that. I love that.
Fuck it. I was just like, yeah, fuck it. And then it was just, again, it was all thanks to UWF that actually made me legitimately go for my dream.
Oh yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'm never actually gonna do this.
Right. And then you found UWF, and then it was off to the races from there, man.
Yeah, that's 6 years now. I'm 23 years old. Yeah.
God, you're so young.
I know.
God, I feel old. Part. God, I hate that. that.
Yeah. Oh my God! Yesterday at a LTW, I was doing this fun game of, all right, how old do you think I am?
Oh, okay.
Meeting great wrestlers.
That's the worst.
Just because I'm I'm curious to see what people say.
Right.
Someone, straightest face ever, goes, all right, how old do you think I am? They look at me, up and down, straightest face ever, most serious tone. 32. I looked at them and said, fuck you. I was like,
you're like, I'm not that old yet. Jesus.
I was like, I don't look that old, do I? And I was like, you're serious? He's like, yeah, I'm serious. I was like, flip the numbers around. He was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like,
right,
yeah.
Right.
I was like, yeah.
It's probably the beard, I'm assuming. It's probably the beard,
Beard and cutting my hair off.
And the lack of hair. Yeah. It's probably a little bit of both.
So I'm like, hey. I was like 32? Damn.
At least you'd know that with that you wouldn't get carded at a restaurant.
Legitimately, I haven't ever been carded.
My point. My point. My point.
Yeah, the last 5 years have never been carded.
My point. Done.
Yeah.
So, who have been some of your favorite wrestlers that you've had the chance to wrestle in the ring with?
All right. Radley Belmont is really fun to wrestle. 100%. He just goes in there. He's such an old school style. Like, he's more of a Southern 80s style wrestler.
Okay.
So it's like, ooh, this is a challenge.
Right.
So it's like I've never wrestled a guy who wrestles like that, other than like JC Extreme one time, but I didn't really get to wrestle with him.
Right.
He's within one of my top 5 favorite opponents. Mike Fatality always brings it to me every time. Kicks my ass constantly.
Right.
But he's one of my best friends.
Right.
Like, we just go in there and we're like, love you, buddy, but
yeah.
Boom.
Right.
It's always fun. Max Adams, one of my best friends outside of wrestling. Love him to death. If I ever have a wedding, he's going to be my best man. That's how much he fucking means to me. Always effortless being in there with your best friend. Where it's like, love you, buddy. Boom. And then just anybody new. I love wrestling someone new.
Right.
Like, working GTS, LTW, and Venom, it's opened me up to so many guys I've never wrestled before.
Right.
And different styles. Like UWF, I've wrestled almost everybody there was to wrestle in UWF. So it was like I got comfortable. And then when outside guys like Danny Darker from the UK come over, and it's like, oh shit, like you worked British style. I was like, all right,
right.
This is fun. It's like that's the challenge is so fun to me.
Right.
So really it's them three right now. Anytime Jimmy wants to get his ass kicked, he can ask for my name and I'll give it to him. And then recently working Drax Mason. Dude does not care for his well-being, and he will try his absolute damnedest to take me down. I love a good fight like that.
Right.
Recently, Gangsta X has been getting into hardcore.
Oh yeah.
And I watched him from when he would wrestle in UWF at the same time as me. So watching him do his shit and like come on against me on like we're meeting in the same level. It's really fun and unique to get to wrestle him all the time. But hopefully one day, who knows who else I can wrestle? Like, I don't have to just wrestle in a death match.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to try to out wrestle me or wants to show me, like, hell yeah, like, let's do it. Like, I'm happy to. This is what I want to do.
Yeah. So then, here's a good question that I've always wanted to know: as a wrestler, that like when you're best friends and you face them, do you hit a little bit more stiff because you know that you're friends and you can? Okay.
If I don't wake up the next day, possibly either with a black eye or a fat lip, I'm not happy because I'm like, I love you. We know, but hey, like, come on. If you don't punch me in the face, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Like, to punch me.
Right. Please hit me.
Some of my best friends hit me the hardest, and I hit them back, and we love each other at the end of the day.
Right. You're like, listen, that hurt, kind of but I still love you.
Yeah, it's the best kind of friendship.
So you have a list of people on your Twitter of who you like to wrestle this year, 2024. How many people have you been able to cross off the list so far?
I crossed off Era Spiral.
Nice.
First ever woman I've ever wrestled, which is really fucking cool.
Oh, really?
She's one of my best friends now in wrestling. I love her to death. I haven't got to wrestle Lauren Spiral yet, but that's her husband. Love him too.
Right.
And then who else did I have on there? I had Mike Goldstein. I just recently wrestled him for the Pro Wrestling Venom Heavyweight title in the CZW dojo in a doors match.
Nice.
That was very fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I'm trying to remember who else was on that list because I definitely have one more name on there.
You had a nice list going. You had a nice list going. Maybe we'll get the Opinion
list.
City research team on that and see
what
we can find.
Very extensive list from people that were in my league to people I'm like, oh, I'm way out of there. Like how do I phrase this right? They're way out of my league, or like they're levels above me, levels above me. Where I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but like maybe.
All right, so you have. I mean, obviously, I think you faced Grim, right? Have you faced Grim
No,
yet?
I haven't yet.
Oh, you haven't.
Yet.
Okay, you have Grim, Final Chapter, Eris Spiral, Uncle Masty, Schlack, JJ Escobar, Necro Butcher, Big Efren Joe, Matt Tremont, which that's a name,
Yeah.
Hoodfoot, Bonifer, Alex Stretch, Anthrax, Masada, and Knuckles.
Bonifer was another name on there.
Bonifer.
That was the other name. Yeah. Yeah,
Matt
I love
Tremont, huh?
Bonifer.
That would be
Oh,
huge.
dude,
That'd be
I've had a lot of
huge.
people that like over the years were like, dude, you remind me of Matt Tremont, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not good enough for that kind of praise. I
Right.
was like, I'm not good enough for that. And but like then I started hearing it from like other people that weren't just like my friends, and I'm like, huh.
You're like, wait a
I was
minute.
like, really? I was like, I don't think I'm that good.
Right.
Humble about myself, but like one day, if I get to wrestle Matt Tremont, it's gonna be a big dream come true. Because like that's a dude who I look at and I'm like, say we look the same, but we have
Right.
similar looking
Right.
style features, and I was like, I live through you when you're
Right.
wrestling. I was like, oh, I want to wrestle you so bad one day. Like same with like Masada was who I watched a lot as a kid.
Right.
Like growing up, that's who I started watching mainly in deathmatch wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wrestling him would be a dream come true.
Right.
Schlack's amazing, dude. I love
Slack.
him to death.
Yeah.
Would love to wrestle him one day.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like Hoodfoot is one of the rising stars in deathmatch wrestling.
Okay.
And if I get to wrestle him and, you know, like, I feel like if I can go toe to toe with him
Mm-hmm.
when he's becoming the next big thing,
Right.
at some point, maybe that can be me.
Yeah.
And it's always like, helps keep me motivated.
Right.
Helps me like just keep going, because there are days where I'm like, oh man, I can't fucking do this.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
no, I can do this. Like I got to put my mind to it, and
Right.
it's started to come to fruition when I finally wrestled Brax,
Ooh. Okay.
and
Nice.
I wrestled him in Connecticut in January,
Okay.
and wrestling him, I was like, all right, he's an established H2O wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
He has wrestled at Super Crazy doing death matches.
Right.
Like, this is not someone who is a joke. He knows his shit. And it's
Right.
like, all right, are you ready for this? And
Yeah.
wrestling him. And it was just like, oh, like, okay. I was like, that was the first real challenge that I was like, all right, maybe I am ready for that next level.
Mm-hmm.
And after the match, just talking with him, and he's such an amazing,
Right.
cool dude. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can talk to him any day of the week. Like we can be at a show and we'll shoot the shit and catch up, and always is an amazing time just being
Right.
around. Super cool dude.
Yeah.
And yeah. If I can wrestle Braxton, like, all right, maybe I can do Matt Tremont one day. Maybe I
Right.
can do Schlack, and I'm not saying it'll be tomorrow, but I can do that. More real than ever.
So, if you were to have one dream match with a wrestler, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh shit. Mm. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Fuck. Damn. Oh my god. I didn't even think about this. If I had to go with anybody, Vader.
Oh, okay.
Vader, who I try to emulate the most.
Right.
That's why I do the Vader bomb,
Mm-hmm.
and I do the splash in the corner, kind of like Vader does. And wrestling, I think if I could wrestle Vader, I think that would be such an just amazing time.
Yeah, dude. Because I feel like you guys almost match energy in a sense, like for sure. Like,
Like anytime I want to go watch like wrestling that isn't deathmatch, Vader All Japan in late 90s.
oh, dude, his work in Japan
2000s.
was ridiculous. His matches were, oh,
Mm.
dude, you thought he was okay when he went to the to the WWF, but like
Mwah.
his work in Japan was chef's kiss. Chef's kiss, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Those are the kind of matches that put hair on chests.
Right.
Like, yeah, Vader 100%.
Invaded by charge. So other than getting bloody and beat up in the ring, what else do you do outside of the squared circle?
So I am a
For
cook in a
fun.
nursing home, believe it or not.
Oh, really? That's an oxymoron.
Right? Yeah.
That's an oxymoron.
Yeah. Besides just that, like, I fucking love like video games, and what I like to do is my friends like talk about like old school games.
Mm-hmm.
So I introduce them to emulators.
Oh yeah,
I get them into emulation, and just like it's one of my favorite things to do. And then like just reading like wrestling books and like learning through different wrestlers' perspectives. Like I was reading Stone Cold recently. What else do I have over there? Like all of Jericho's, Daniel Bryan, Vader's, Sabu, the original Sheik. Just
nice.
And just learning how wrestlers that I idolized got up in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, like outside of like being in the ring, like wrestling is revolving always around in my life.
Right.
Whether I'm watching it, or I'm like reading about it, or just like around my room, there's wrestling everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's always in my life.
So are you like a big wrestling what's the word? Collector? Like, do you collect a lot of things? Figures, shirt, merchandise? Like, do you have a lot of...
Not like that.
Okay.
I have like a couple items here or there. Like I have here, I'll grab it real quick.
Okay.
So my friend Max Adams, he had a ECW championship that
nice
signed by a bunch of people.
Oh, that's
on the
awesome.
roster, and like that were behind the scenes and stuff. So I like have things like that.
That's really cool though. Hell yeah.
Then I have like a bunch of random like things from like my matches. Like I have merchandise that I created like the logos for. Like we've had a couple of them over here, like the Uncivilized Cup logo. I had that I knew at the time made this design.
Right.
And then the top up here was my first ever T-shirt that I made for someone else.
Oh, nice! That's
and
awesome.
It was for my fatality, and it turned out really cool.
Nice.
One of my personal favorite one, like I did it. Oh my god, I'm like so terrible with angles. I did it like completely scratch, like made it myself, and that was for Pat McIntosh, and it was like I'm proud of like things like that, and then like I have a flyer that I made that was put in it's like a Deathmatch wrestling magazine that was coming out during the pandemic.
Right.
But it was cool having stuff like I made in there. And then I have like random weapons. Like I have a barbed wire 2x4 in the corner, barbed wire saw blade bat by my trash can just because.
Why not? Why not?
Why not? And
just to have on you.
Of course, I have a set of light tubes in the corner too.
Just in case. Just in case.
You never know. Never know when you're going to need it.
Here's a specific question. When you go to Home Depot, is it like Christmas? Trying to find all the different weapons to get for your matches?
I know by heart where everything I need is.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I will literally, like, if I went with my mom. I came with me one time because she had to get something for herself.
Mm.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and grab what I needed. And I needed gusset plates, staple gun, staples. And I was looking at light tube prices, see what they were.
Right.
I had all that done in 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
And my mom still hadn't found the aisle she was looking for. And I was like, come with me. I will show you where it's at. She walked past it like 2 times.
Right.
And I was just like, I was like, I forgot. I know where everything I need is at.
Right.
I can do it so mindlessly at this point.
You just go in, I need these tubes, I need this, I need that, and then we're out.
Yep.
I noticed you're wearing a PlayStation sweater. Are you a big PlayStation gamer?
Yes. I have on my emulator a lot of like PlayStation 1.
Okay.
And I've always had a PlayStation 2 as a kid. Growing up, I still have my PlayStation 2 along with all the games I have.
Oh yeah,
so
nice.
I was always a PlayStation kid. And then this is like a Japanese one, so I have like a bunch of Japanese games that I play too. Like they have a specific game that was God, why am I blanking? Hold on. It's called the Simple 1500 series in Japan.
Okay.
And it's based off of SmackDown 2 Know Your Role.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But they
All
have
right.
deathmatch stuff in it. They have no rope bar, exploding barbed
Oh,
wire,
wow.
concrete canvas. Like the outside can be covered in fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Raz from the chat wants to know what's your favorite PlayStation game.
Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, it's so good. Which
Crash
one, though?
Bandicoot,
There's three. Which
the
one?
first one.
Okay.
The original
Okay.
always be number one.
Okay.
That or Pepsi Man.
Pepsi Man.
Pepsi Man.
That one I actually don't know.
Oh, it's someone in Japan designed a whole game that had the Pepsi logo as a superhero.
Oh, really?
It's one of the simplest games I've ever played, but it's so challenging too at the same time.
Right.
But it's so fun because all you hear in the background is Pepsi Man, and they have like custom music for Pepsi Man.
That's awesome.
It's the most chaotic thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's amazing. So you were never an Xbox guy?
Not until later in my life, but
Okay.
only like certain games like Saints Row 2 was only on the Xbox,
So good.
and I love that.
So good,
But
yeah.
I was mainly PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3.
Do you have a 5?
I had one and then I sold it.
Oh, okay.
Because I wasn't using it. I was like,
Right.
if I can make money off this, because this is when it was super like expensive too.
Right.
I was like, let me just, I'm not using it. And I was like, my friend wants one. I was like, here, $800. And he was like, all right. And then everything I play is on PC now.
Right.
So it's like, I'll be fine. But I had to get one soon.
Right.
I had to play Spider-Man 2.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Did you play the first one?
Yes. Loved
Okay.
it.
So good.
Spider-Man, the first one that's the first ever game I 100% completed.
Oh, wow. Like everything? Like
including all the DLC,
all the trophies?
Everything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like doing that with games. That's too much work.
How many hours did you put into that bad boy?
If I remember correctly, it was close to 70, 80.
Jesus.
Yeah, just because like there were just times where I was just like sit there and I was like, all right, kill bad guys, get experience, to rank up everything, and unlock all the suits and stuff. But it was just like, oh my god. I think I spent maybe like 2 months total.
Right.
Just like random days here and there doing it. I was just like, oh.
Yeah. That was like me during COVID. I bought Animal Crossing for the Switch. And that was all I played for like 6 months.
I never got into Animal Crossing.
Well, so funnily enough, it actually was because everything shut down. My friend's birthday was coming up. She still wanted to have a party, so she said, "Hey, do you guys have a Switch?" I said, "Yes." "Do you guys, here, I'll give you a code. Get this game, and we can have a virtual birthday party in Animal Crossing for my birthday."
Okay.
And then that started the rabbit hole of, okay, now I'm playing the game, I'm playing the game, I'm playing the game, I'm playing the game, I'm playing the game.
See, I have to be like very specifically interested in the game to want to play it. Like I don't just play like I am very fixated on like Star Wars and wrestling. That's what I mainly play all the time because.
Well, once the ADHD starts, it doesn't stop. It just goes down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So I play that game to beat the game, but there's obviously still more you can do. But I beat the game within like the first like few weeks. I'm like, all right, game's over. Let's build now. Like it was bad. It was bad. There's not many games that I put hours into, and that game I put hours into.
Yeah.
What's the video game that you put the most hours in? Was it that game?
Spider-Man.
Okay.
100%. 100%. Usually once I'm like, all right, I'm done with the game, I won't touch it unless I have like a nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
Like most games I'll be done in like a week or two. As long as I like, especially like Modern Warfare, I would just play for the campaign. I was like, play multiplayer, and if they had zombies, I'd play that mainly.
Yeah.
Because like I loved Call of Duty Zombies as a kid. That was my shit.
Zombies is great. Zombies is a classic.
Yes, that's my shit.
But which one? Because there's so many different versions of zombies. Like which Call of Duty which zombies version was the one that you played? Was it like through Modern Warfare, or was it through Ghosts, or was it through Black Ops?
World at War 2, Black Ops 3.
Okay.
And even now, I still play Black Ops 3 on my computer because they have the custom maps. And some people make some crazy
maps. Oh, dude, the maps are nuts in that game.
Yeah, and I was just, I'm trying to get my friend Gabe to play with me one night because he plays customs. I was like, motherfucker. I was like, you can hit me in the face with a light tube, but you won't play Call of Duty Zombies.
Right.
I was like, get on, idiot. I love Gabe, but just yeah, no, but yeah, friggin' Call of Duty Zombies. I spent hours trying to do the moon Easter egg as a kid.
Oh, yeah,
I never completed it.
I didn't even get that far.
Never completed it.
Oh, no. All right, so last question that we give to all our guests, but for you, it's a little bit of a twist, and it's, what does deathmatch wrestling mean to you, and what is its significance that's had on your life?
Ooh. All right. Legitimately, deathmatch wrestling and wrestling gives me I honestly feels like it's my sole purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I have to do this and I have to go as far as I can. Otherwise, I feel like I'm not living life.
Right.
So it literally is my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, every single day, like I said, there isn't some way wrestling isn't involved in my life.
Right.
Whether I'm wrestling, watching wrestling, reading wrestling,
mm-hmm.
or I'm planning wrestling.
Right.
Every day, every hour, wrestling is somehow on my mind, or it's in my hand, or it's right in front of my face.
Right.
There's legitimately been times where I'd be the worst point of my life, at least at that point,
mm-hmm.
or where I'd be having just really, really difficult time.
Right.
Wrestling takes me back.
Mm-hmm.
It's the number one thing that I can always rely on in life,
mm-hmm.
and it's always there. It's always constant. Even with the evolving stories, there's always something for everyone.
Right.
And
mm-hmm.
it's the one place where I can feel because I have Asperger's, so this social,
really? Okay.
So it's social settings for
mm-hmm.
me can be very difficult sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But wrestling, it's where I feel the most safe, the most comfortable
mm-hmm.
with any aspect of it. So when I'm in that space, it's I'm 100% I'm human at that point. I'm me,
right?
And that's all I've ever been is
mm-hmm.
just wrestling.
Yeah,
and I'm living it, and that's my favorite thing.
Right. No, that's a perfect answer. Perfect way to cut off this portion of the show. I think it's time we're going to take a quick break. We will come back with probably the most ridiculous top 5 list we've ever had. I can't wait. You can't wait. It's going to be ridiculous. We'll be right back.
"7 years ago, one man had a vision. It began as an idea, and it would change his life forever. As the vision grew, others hopped on board, and a podcast was born. A network was started. Episode 50 will be like no other. This is where it all begins again. And for this special episode, we need a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, your main event of the evening!
Guys, we are just 2 weeks away. Mr. Anderson on the podcast the weekend after WrestleMania. It was a hell of an interview. We can't wait for you guys to see it. It's going to be amazing. Episode 50, Big 5-0, 2 weeks away. With that said, Mikey, do you happen to know what time it is?
It's time for the main event.
All right, let's get into brass tacks here. Let them all know what is your top 5, and we're about to run some stories down. Let's go. What is it? What we got? Can't wait for this one.
All right. It is the top 5 most unique weapons that I've either used or have had used on me in a deathmatch.
Spoilers, I have seen the list, and guys, you're in for a doozy. Let's start right off. Number 5. Let's go.
Number 5, it's something I alluded to earlier.
Yes.
This would be the weapon that I made for my debut. It was a barbed wire wrapped and thumbtack covered adult fun toy, let's say. I will leave it to your imagination.
Right.
Do you know how ridiculous it is, using that on someone?
I'm sure.
But what makes it stand out a little bit more is the behind-the-scenes story with it.
Let's go.
So, during the match, I wasn't paying attention. I was talking shit to the crowd, and I threw it at the crowd.
No.
I wasn't trying to throw it at them. I threw it at their feet. What I didn't calculate was bounce.
Right.
So it turns out that apparently it bounced to the backstage, where it clipped a wrestler almost right in the foot, and then landed next to. It's gonna sound terrible. One of my friends with one of the wrestlers' kids.
Oh no!
Landed right near their feet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's the first ever weapon I ever made for a match too. So that's why it stands out, weirdly enough, a little bit more for me.
Did you get your inspiration from Saints Row 2? Come on.
Yes, and Low Life Louie.
I knew it.
Because I had made one for Louie, and I handed it to him during a match at the H2O Center years ago.
Right.
It was Hardcore Kingdom 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm going to make another one for my first ever match. I don't know why I did that. I was 17.
Right.
Number 4. Oh, man. Let me preface this by saying I don't know where these items came from. But it was breast milk squirt gun / pee squirt gun.
Great.
Now, in shoot, milk was real milk, but it was spoiled milk.
Oh, also gross.
Yeah, it was gross. And so in shoot, the squirt gun with pee was apple juice.
Oh, okay.
But the way it stands out,
but the idea was there. But the idea was there.
Stands out though is because it wasn't necessarily him squirting me; it was the after. Was my genius mind was I no-sold it, grabbed it, and I went. I learned something from R. Kelly, and I opened it up and drank it.
Oh God!
Yeah, that was not the best comment at the time, but it was 2020.
No.
But it was 2020, and I wasn't thinking. Yeah, not the brightest idea I've had in my life.
No.
Yeah. And then proceeded to spit it at my opponent.
Even better. Yeah.
The great Pia instead of the great Muda.
Right.
Oh man. Number 3 was a legitimate deer antler.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, you gotta tell me this story. How the hell would you find a real deer antler to use as a weapon?
Someone had found I believe it was a deer skull on their property. And they were like, is there some way you guys can use this as a weapon? Mm-hmm. So someone took the antler off and sharpened the shit out of it. But then Mike Fatality, when he's giving you, I forget what he calls a submission, he has another deer antler that's going into their throat as he's giving, the Satan spike, that's what he calls it.
Okay.
He has the deer antler to the throat while he's spiking someone on the other side. Basically hitting both the pressure points.
No.
So instead of using just his thumb, the fucking bone from the deer antlers pressing it.
God, no.
It's weird.
No.
It's weird.
Oh God.
Number.
Now, was that one that you used on somebody, or did somebody use on you?
Both. I got it used on me.
Okay. Okay.
Deer antlers are weird, man. Are weird. Mailbox.
Mailbox.
Um,
Listen, I work for the post office, so like I gotta know what the mailbox ever did wrong to you guys.
all right. Here's anybody who knows me that knows my history with the WWF knows the mailbox incident. So this was the day after I graduated high school.
Oh boy.
Was still 18, and I was having a no-ring death match against one of the UWF wrestlers named Browns. And before the match, he's like, "Come here, kid. I got to show you something." I was like,
"Oh, jeez."
And knowing Browns, the bit that I knew at the time of him, I was like, "This could mean so many scary possibilities."
Right.
Opens the trunk of the car and he goes, "I'm gonna hit you with that." And I looked at him and I was like, okay. I was like, mailbox, that's new.
Right.
Whatever. We're in the match, and at one point I'm laying on my back and he has the mailbox in his hand.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm already a little disoriented because I believe he hit me with an X Factor. So I'm just like, okay, like trying to get my bearings together. I look up, bunk, right in the face. Thought my orbital bone was broken.
Great. We love that.
Black eye. I was completely fine.
Right.
I was freaking out. Because I was like, no, we got to call the match. Screw this. And the ref of death, love him to death, my favorite ref of all time that I've ever had. He was like, no, you're okay. Like, I know you. If I thought you were seriously hurt, I wouldn't let you go. And he's like, all right, I trust you. So we got to the end of the match, and Browns, he looks at me, he goes, hit me with the mailbox. I was like, okay, buddy. Okay.
My turn.
I wound back, and at this point, I went full shoot, blacked out. I don't remember this moment. I don't remember this moment at all.
Okay.
Swung it. Got him right at the top of the head.
Oh, God.
And I just remember grabbing it, and he was on the ground.
You don't remember like actually hitting it on the US?
Nope. I've seen the clip dozens and hundreds of times at this point. I don't remember one bit. And I just remember looking at him, and I was like, I seen he was split open, and he started leaking. I was like, stay down. Just stay down, please.
Right.
Like, and at the end of the match, he's got a giant, like, split, but I'll get into that. The last bit of that story that kind of hooks everything. He proceeds to wrestle for another 5 minutes afterwards.
Oh, really?
Yes! And to this day, Browns is one of the toughest motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life. Just for that alone. Then we proceed to go upstairs. I was with the person I was with at the time, and he was with his fiance, now wife. And she just looks at him, and she goes, hospital. And I was like, fuck. At this point, I'm like, oh, shit.
Not good.
Like,
Not good.
Not good. He was like, no. He's like, dude, I love you to death for hitting me that hard. I looked at him and said, what? He's like, I smoked you in the face. You gave it back to me. You forever have my respect. I love you, kid. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, oh, these people are crazy.
Right.
He had vertigo for an entire month.
Oh, my God.
He had 12 to 14 staples.
Jesus.
He had to stay in the hospital for, I think it was like 30 hours. Just because they were afraid that he might have like a brain hemorrhage.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah.
You hit him that hard. God damn.
I love Browns to death. We laugh about it now. He has the mailbox in his bedroom.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. That's crazy.
No, I'm keeping this forever. And I look at his wife and I'm like, I'm sorry. And she just looks at me and she goes,
whatever. Like, what are you going to do?
What can you do? And I was like, fair enough. Number one.
Number one, I got to hear the story. I can't wait.
Number one, very, very much not alive. Puffer fish. Like the the freaking pufferfish.
A dead pufferfish.
It's exoskeleton. It's exoskeleton.
As a weapon.
Uh-huh. I was having a 30-minute Iron Man deathmatch.
Wow.
Against Mike Fatality. This was 2019.
Okay.
And at one point in the match, we were outside the ring. And mind you, I didn't know this thing existed.
Mm-hmm.
This is full shoot. All of a sudden, I feel Mike, and I feel him like sticking something in my head. I was like, "What the hell is that?" And I just feel like multiple like barbed ends. And I was like, "That's not barbed wire. There's no bat." I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I see him pull it off my head, and it's the dead pufferfish, the skeleton. I was like, where did this thing come from? Turns out the property owner had it.
Wow.
And he brought it out and gave it to Mike mid-match to hit me with. Yeah, definitely probably the most out there weapon I think I've ever had used on me in my life. And I don't think I'll ever see something like that again.
Right. That's crazy. That is just what a way to end the top 5 list, folks. A dead pufferfish.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, before we get out of here, let's get into some upcoming events and see what we both got coming up in the future.
Yes. So,
hang on.
we're all good.
But you got coming up down the line pretty soon. What's going on?
Right. There we go. So, I have, as of coming up now, Grimomania is coming up starting next week. You can see how much I'm going to kick Rad Dad's ass and take both the Intercontinental United States Championships, baby. Then we have, as of next right now with Pro Wrestling Venom, nothing yet. We are in an off season. For my next show after that, it will be UWF Underground Ultra Violence, where I'll be defending both the UWF Uncivilized Championship and Underground Championship, which means I'm pulling however many people want to come and fight me will come and fight me. After that, I have hasn't been announced yet. I have a no-ring show coming up at the beginning of May. The next day is I have a Cinco de Mayo match that hasn't been announced yet. Then after that, another show that hasn't been announced yet in May. May's filling up for me.
May's filling up.
Things I'm just waiting for the complete confirmation to start posting things. After that, I know my next confirmed match will be June 17th for TF Crew Wrestling. It will be the first ever dog collar match in Connecticut history.
Right.
And then they're the only shows I can fully say now.
Right.
But I have things coming up all the way up until December that, they're not going to be announced yet until it's time. But right now there's a lot of open availability too that I'm trying to fill. So just keep your eyes out, and you never know where I might pop up next, man.
Right. Hang on one second. Oh, shit. We still there? We still here?
Yes, sir.
We still live? Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
But you can't see me, though.
No.
Oh, my God. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fuck. Okay, we're having some difficulties here. Hang Hang on. Give us 1 second. My
Okay,
apologies.
man, take your time, brother, man.
We're having technical difficulties. We'll be back in a second. Sorry for the delay.
I don't know.
Oh, no. Not doing a freaking show.
I don't know if it's just me right now, but if it is, hi. We can't wait to put Lawrence through this.
All right, we're still here. We're back.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry for the delay, guys. My bad. We had a little issue on my end. Everything just kind of died, so that's always great.
Fair enough.
Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Sorry for the last-minute blip. Gotta love life. Gotta love when things just don't go your way. Want to thank you so much for being on the show. Thanks for your patience and your time.
Of course.
Thank you, listeners, for watching and dealing with my lovely haywire right at the end there. We gotta love it. This is live, folks. This is what happens. Before I go, though, I will just say real quick, we do have some shows for any weekend. We will be doing the pre-show and post-show of Wrestle John, Labor of Love, and John 100% Wednesday, April 3rd at Attic Brewing. We'll be doing the next day, Euphoria. Same thing, pre-show and post-show, April 4th at Attic Brewing Company. And we will obviously be doing Big Dan Champions 40th birthday bash. We'll be live streaming, having a bunch of fun. Also, it will be Jimmy Lloyd versus Ultraman is Black. It's going to be freaking nuts. And we also have more things happening. We have on the 5th, Friday, we'll be at WWE World, myself and King Ralph. We'll also be on the 9 p.m. at the Monster Factory, the Extreme Matt Hardy Seminar. And all streams will be available free on youtube.com/OpinionCityPod. This has been an Opinion City Podcast production, a Ben Frank Connection production. And we will see you guys next time. We out of here.
This is also Ann here. You're listening to Opinion City Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Happy trails to you till we meet
Thanks for watching this presentation. Like, share, and subscribe for more.